Good morning, traders. So it's Sunday, and it's Sunday setup time. Hi, I'm Clayton Allen, host of the Day Trading Plumber and full-time Forex trader. So every Sunday, I go through the markets and I post on a larger time frame my support and resistance levels pretty much on the daily. Doesn't mean I trade every time the price gets in that zone. It just makes me aware of, hey, price is in a supply or demand zone, and we should start looking for a smaller time frame confirmation to take those trades. Now, I run a paid signal service where I take all my discretionary trades, and you're more than welcome to jump on that channel. I'll put links into this video. I also have a free one where I take 2 or 3 trades. It's more designed for newbies or even experienced traders that just want a different reference point. And I put all of my trade analysis, smaller time frame breakdowns that I share on TradingView on that channel as well. So you got one place to go. I give trade ideas, and then I take 3 or 4 trades a week on that channel, just so someone can get used to taking a few trades and looking at how I see the markets. Okay, let's jump right in. Hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving. It was a really slow week in the markets. We're all excited to get some price action this week. This is when people can jump into trades too early, so be very patient and be disciplined. Stick to your rules. December is always a really slow month for trading. And when I say slow, it means there's a lot of liquidity that leaves the market. So when there's a fundamental news break, it can move very hard and fast. Very good if you're on the right side of that move. Very bad if you're on the wrong side of that move. So just, the holiday slowdown, if you do put trades on, make sure you have some stop losses in. Or use really small trade sizes, and don't have any, high expectations during the holidays. All right, let's jump right into it. So let's go to TradingView and see what we got going. So got my first chart open here. We got the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. So on the daily, you can see we kind of have this downward trending channel. You can see price kind of flattened out here and created this strong support. The last few times, if I zoom in here, you can see it got into this bullish zone that we've identified. And this is why we have this area identified right here. Is price has reversed itself twice already. And now you can see we have our bearish zone identified up here, where it's right where the channel. You can see price has just been respecting this upper resistance of this downward channel. Last week, price broke its pivot. Now we're sitting at a good, recent turnaround on a smaller time frame here. And now what we want to do is see if price breaks these levels, has a really good chance of making it back down. Then we're going to want to see what price does here. So if you want to see what I do, is I put a little reminder alert right here. So 89,167. I'll put an alert 89,167, and I will put in here looking to buy. So that way, if I'm out at the grocery store, out with my kids, whatever, and I get this alert, I quickly know what I'm looking for on this pair. All right, so let's jump to Australian dollar, Swiss franc. So you can see we had this upward trend. Price hit R2, then it broke this trend line, and then now you can see it's just been riding the bottom of that trend line. So our expectation is that this is a retest of this forward trend, making it a new resistance. So that's why we've moved our bearish zone under that trend line. And, I still, until I see a solid break, I'm still pretty bearish. And what we might be looking for right now is price just came back to its pivot and it's just hanging out on the pivot. So what we're going to want to see on a smaller time frame is a confirmation, a break of this new trend line we got here. You see this? So if we get a break of this new trend line, we're going to have a great bearish trade all the way down to this bullish zone, or possibly a good profit target would be this S2 level. We have a lot of fundamentals coming out on this pair. Or if you see a solid break of this former support on this trend line, we might swap our bullish back up here and we're bullish again on this pair. But that's how that's how I read price on these higher time frames. And I'm still bearish. If price were to shoot back up into this area, I'd have a really tight stop loss, and or you see a confirmation break of that trend line. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one red because, if I see really close to this trend line, I see a break. So I'm going to put an alert right here. So 6-7, 6-4-5, 6-7, 6-4-5. Okay, we're going to be looking to sell at this level. All right, Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Kind of the same thing. We have an upward trending channel. Price got into our bearish zone here, dropped perfectly down to its pivot into our bullish zone. But now what we kind of see here is prices kind of waved back and forth the last week, and it hasn't broke this support. So we're still bearish if we see it touch this support, and respect it, which we could see it kind of pushed down on Friday, kind of shot up. So this is one we're going to want to really watch here at the beginning of the open and see if we could get another push down, possibly to this pivot level, and it's a smaller time frame break up. Then we'll continue to be bullish. And if we shrink this bullish a little bit, it gives us a little bit more precise where we want to be. And right now, we need to, the market needs to tell us what it's going to do. We're not going to guess. So we're going to see if we could get another respect of this trend line and be bullish. If we get a solid break of this trend line, we're going to reverse. We're going to bring bearish right here and bring bullish possibly all the way down to this S2 or this level here. On the daily, this is the obvious spot. This is the last time we had a big turn. So we just going to have to wait on this pair. I'm going to leave it red because I want to make sure this is in my watch list, that I wait and see what price does right at this level. All right, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. So this is a pair. We hit this double top 2 weeks ago. Perfect setup. You have basically a double top. We had divergence on the daily, and then we had a solid break. And what we were looking for, what we have been looking for in this pair, is a retracement. We just haven't got it. So if we bring this retracement here, that puts the 0.38 in between the 0.38 and 0.5. So, we could still see a solid retracement on this pair back up to this bearish zone, and that's when we're going to want to get bearish. We had this little blip here right where this blip was. But this would have been a great trade if we had the patience to stay in it these last 2 weeks. And because we caught it up here, I believe we took our profit here, and if some of you are still in this trade and kept short from when we got in up here, good for you. But where I'm sitting and what I'm seeing now, since we never had that strong of a retracement, retracement's coming, and I'm almost bullish on this pair. What I want to see is what price is going to do when it hits this support, which is right where we have our bullish. Get this out of the way. Right where we have our bullish zone here, and why I picked that zone is more of this support, less of what we had going on over here. I'm going to put a alert right here, 05107. And I'm going to put looking to buy. And so that way we catch an alert. That doesn't mean we're going to buy as soon as the alert comes up. It means we're going to see what price does on this level. And some of you out there may be going, well, why do you have your support level drawn that way? It could be more like that. I'm, I just see a bottom here. We had a little false breakout, then a thing pop up. So, I mean, some may argue that this is a horizontal support. You see how you kind of break it out that way? So that's how that's how everyone sees the market's different. I have mine there. So we're just going to see what price does there. If I see a solid break of this line, I'm bearish on this pair down to this level. What I'd want to see though is a strong pullback that fits one of our Fibonacci retracement levels. I want to see a strong retracement. I feel like this is a really bad time to enter a short trade because you're at 28 on RSI on the daily. I'm sure if we go down to a smaller time frame, we've been below 30 for a while. We have divergence. You see this. You're almost forming a double bottom on the 4 hour. So it's getting ready to make a strong retracement, possibly a trend reversal. And what we want to catch that reversal in a buy trade because we're really close to our bullish area and take some good profit out of it. I love that we missed the pivot on the 4 hour last week. Price tends to want to get back to its pivot. So this is a really good buy setup coming up. And, I would pick a good profit target right around the 106,080 level as a buy trade. So this would be a perfect one to watch what happens on the open and to jump into a buy trade if presents itself, which it looks pretty close to presenting itself with this double bottom. If we go to a 1 hour chart, you could probably see it a little bit better. Yeah, I see we bottomed out here, we tested it here, and then now price is just kind of consolidating. We're in the middle of RSI on the 1 hour. So, if we see a strong push, retest of this support, confirm it, great time to buy, put a decent side, give it some room on a stop loss, and then ride this thing back up to that pivot level. All right, let's go back to the daily. Let's look at Australian dollar, US dollar. So the US dollar has just been kicking everyone's butt last week. My guess is it's more of it was a holiday week. There's a lot of liquidity missing out of the markets, and strong jobs report. So we got non-farm payroll this week. So it's going to be a crazy week for the dollar and most pairs. So this is the funnest week to trade and probably most likely will be the most active week in December. So keep that in mind. So this one's right in the middle of our range. Again, got into our bearish area here. Great time to sell. Just blew past the pivot. You can see it blew past it, retested the pivot. And then now we got a lot of fundamentals coming out this week. I kind of like this pair continuing its bearish trend all the way down to this bullish zone before I get bullish. But my bullish zone's probably a little aggressive down here. We may want to see what price does right in this region first. So for some of you intraday, intra-week traders, it may not be a bad idea to continue being bearish, although we did see price kind of stall out on this S2 level, waiting for all this fundamental news. So, a more probable trade is see if price can stretch all the way down to this bullish area and then get bullish again, rather than try to sell from here. You just don't know. So for me, the higher probable trade is wait till we get down into this turnaround zone, look for a good confirmation. Or if price reverses, comes all the way back up to our bearish zone, we'll get bearish again. But right now, I'm more going to wait on this pair. Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. All right, so, excuse me. So we had a great head and shoulders pattern. We had a break of the neckline. I believe we even took some sell trades right here, got some good profit. Price came down, respected this support, got bullish again. Great trade back up to the pivot. Okay, so now that price hit its support, raced back to the pivot, what do? Okay, so it kind of knocks out this head and shoulders pattern we have here. So let's get rid of it. Let's draw our bearish zone. Let's just throw one out there. There we go. So, price has kind of been respecting this resistance. If we pull this resistance down, now you can see we've kind of hit this line a few, one there, 2, 3, 4, close 5, 6. So I like this level, and it's kind of forming the market for us, right? So now we see prices about in the middle. So what I'd like to see on this pair is if we get another push down to this support, if it respects this support again, we'll get bullish. If we get a strong push up to this level, this is where I'll start looking for a sell trade. But right now, it's pretty risky. We're in the middle of supply and demand. Yes, some of you intraday or intra-week traders may find some good trades, in between here. But for me, I'm going to wait till we get it in one of our zones. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. All right, so we had this great channel going on. Then we had divergence. So for all of you that, would you get divergence posted on a daily and it's in a bullish zone or bearish zone? Look, if you can be extremely patient and you catch this trade on this strong impulse move down, and you would have bought here, and you were patient for weeks, look at what you could have pulled off. Now, those are really hard trades to stay in that whole time, because you would have been in great profit, you would have lost some profit, then you would have been in great profit, and you would have gave some of it back, and then it's really hard to hold through these. But some of you traders that don't have a lot of time, or have limited capital and just want to find a good way to plant a seed with a decent small trade size where you give it lots of room. If you see Knoxville divergence post on a daily, and you can be patient enough to wait for a strong push against your idea and take that trade and then not stare at your app or stare at the trade forever and just give it lots of time, you could, trade it all the way back up to this channel. Would have been as farthest point I would have put my take profit. But as you can see on this case, we broke the channel, and then now we've just been respecting this former resistance as a support. So that's why we've moved our bullish zone above this former resistance. And kind of where we're at now is, we have this level we want to look at as bearish, and we had a bullish dip down in here. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's pretty scary when you have price stretching to here and you're confused, because if it breaks this, it comes back down. That's, when you're taking that type of trade where it's a retest type, put a tight stop loss if you're going to try to enter on this backside, or wait for this trend line break. This is on a daily, so right here would have been a good place to buy. A safer place to buy is on this break of that trend line. You would have bought right here, or waited for a smaller time frame retest of it, and then ride this thing back up. Now what we have is prices kind of in the middle. So we want to see what this fundamental news is going to do. Right now, this pair, for me, I'm going to wait to see if we come back down, test this support, then get bullish. Or if we see a strong push all the way back up to this bearish zone, that's when we're going to get bearish. But right now, price is kind of in the middle of no man's land. Let's look at Euro, Australian dollar. So we've had this channel going on. Now we have this support here. I've been kind of using this channel to guide me. So I'd be bullish if we see price come back. See how it hit S2 on the daily and then raced back to its pivot. So price raced back to its pivot. Now it's kind of formed this U shape, which you could probably say is a smaller time frame double top, or at least giving you the idea of a double top. And it's not a bad play. You could, a smaller time frame, you could trade, a sell back down to this, because you have this strong support level here on the 1 hour. Or one may look at it as you have an impulse leg, and you have a retest of the 0.382, so price is going to continue well on. So it just depends on your style, depends on what you're used to doing. For me, this area, I kind of like it as a double top, see what price does. If it comes back down into our bullish zone, we might take a buy trade if it comes down and respects in here, or it may continue to push up, and then we got to see what price is going to do in our bearish zone that we have identified here. It may be this thing's going to push all the way back up to here. Who knows? But right now, we're going to let the market tell us what it wants to do. Let's go to Euro, Canadian dollar. All right, let's zoom in. We had some action here. So it looks like on a smaller time frame, we were kind of looking at this as a double top. But you could see price did come up into our bullish or bearish zone here and pull back down to a pivot. Now what we got to see is what's price going to do after it hit its pivot. Maybe just continuing this upward trend. For me, I'm going to see if price gets back up here, respects it, forms a double top, I'll get bearish. If we see a solid break of this resistance, we may be long this pair for a while. What we may be seeing here is we had a really long downtrend, sideways action, and this may be the break of that sideways action. It comes back up to this support level. But we just don't know right now. Euro, Swiss franc, again, almost looks the same. I mean, the euro is just kind of going in between these two zones while we wait out this Brexit stuff. So, great trade. We're almost into our bearish zone again. So this is a pair we want to watch this week. See if we get a strong push or respect to this resistance. Might be a great pair to short when we get up here. It's not quite there yet, so we're going to wait on it. Euro GBP. All right, so this one we've been patiently waiting. We saw this massive bearish move. After this, a pullback, massive bearish move. And then price just really has just been kind of slowly sinking down. But as you can see, we are at a very strong support level that dates back to March, April, May here. So we are in a great area to see what price is going to do. Is it going to break this support, or is it going to respect it? My guess is we're going to see some institutions, some big money bet on this pair to go long, back long again. So I'm going to be looking at this pair this week for a good buy trade, possibly a push down to this level so I can put a really tight stop and try to buy this pair and take it back up to this missed pivot we have right here. Okay. So we'll leave that one red. Euro JPY. So again, price is coming back up. We want to wait till it gets into our bearish zone. Nothing really to change here other than we got to be patient. We got to be patient and see what price, let price get back up to this resistance level and see what it does. Let's go to Euro NZD. All right, so we have a support line drawn right here. Maybe we go to the end of those wicks and it kind of shows. So right now we're kind of seeing bullish, but what I want to do is get a solid smaller time frame break up, a break of this newly formed support in the last 4 days, and this would be a good bullish buy back up to this missed pivot here or up to our bearish zone. Euro, US dollar, everyone's favorite pair. So some traders I know only trade this pair, and they've been really frustrated the last few weeks because they just not getting a lot of action. So again, there's really nothing to report here other than it's kind of in the middle of our zones, but we could kind of start to see we're forming a bullish zone right here. But it's just too early to tell. Yeah, so we just want to be patient on this pair and see what it's going to give us. Right now, we have our support drawn down here. It's kind of formed in the last 2 weeks, this new support. But I feel like we're kind of stretching it there. But if we get a strong push down or respect to this level, we may get bullish here. Again, it's non-farm payroll week. We got a lot of fundamentals. The dollar's been very strong. So we may get a big push back down and a break of this level. So we're gonna sit on this pair and wait and see what happens. No sense in taking risky trades. All right, so this pair, British pound, Australian dollar, we had this nice channel that we were trading off of, and as you can see, if you would have caught a buy here, great. We probably would have closed it here because it's top of this channel, but then you can see if you were channel trading this and you sold it here, man, you would have got stopped out, which is fine if you put a stop loss. But if you got caught in this Then you waited this out. This should have got you out. Then we would have got bullish again here. But what I'm seeing now is we had this double top, but we never got this strong push down or break of that neckline. So now that we have this push out of our bearish zone here, looks like the British pound is just pounding the Australian dollar and breaking new highs. So this is going to be a fun pair to watch, because this could be just a strong push and then it's still going to be bearish. What I want to see is a push and then a smaller time frame confirmation that's going to kind of confirm this strong support. But as you can see, we kind of broke through it, but we haven't had a big bear or bullish candle break. So we're going to kind of wait and see. Just because we broke the new high doesn't mean just jump right into this. It's a little bit of a scary move here. But if I was, I'd be bullish again here. It's kind of in a tight little range here. If we bust out to a monthly, what you could see here is we definitely broke those. Now you can kind of see we had this really strong resistance that we busted through. Finally, it busted through, retraced down. We have a strong bust through. So this thing could be going all the way up to this level. It's going to take some time, but we may be seeing a strong British pound versus the Australian dollar up to this level up here on the monthly. If we go to the weekly, kind of the same thing. It's just we're gonna have to see what it tells us. But man, this is a new high since 2017. Yeah, I mean it's the new high since April 2016 or 2017. April's where we saw this huge decline. So, we may be looking at British pound comeback from, the pain that Brexit put on it. For me, I want to see what this fundamental news does. I don't want to get caught in this false breakout. It's a really good place to catch a sell trade if you think it's going to push up into here and sell, and then, this thing could just be coming back down to these levels. We just don't know yet. So let's go to British pound, Canadian dollar. Kind of got the same thing going on. It's been in this channel. Move our bearish zone up here. It's kind of a big bearish zone. I like bearish right there. So price is really close to see if we get a double top here. Good reversal, place for a strong reversal. And I like this pair all the way back down to our bullish zones here where we saw this pullback level. British pound, Swiss franc, kind of the same thing. As you can see, we've been trying to catch this on this strong support. It's been giving us really small profitable trades this whole time. On my trade copy account, where I run Wally, my robot, he's already short. He's in L5, meaning he's already got 5 trades short on this. So I've been kind of biasly looking for a good place to put in a rollover. And last week I put in a 6th trade, and as you can see, I'm kind of stuck a little bit. Now, I'm not worried because, again, I manage my trade sizes and I have plenty of margin to wait it out. But I'm going to have to make a decision here pretty soon on this pair, because as you can see, I don't like that we broke this, but I also see we have this strong resistance level coming up dating back to March, that if we get a retest there, probably won't put in a 7th trade, but it'll give you some confirmation to hold those pairs back down. So we'll just have to see. Everyone trades differently. If I have plenty of margin and plenty of cash, I could afford to wait out a few Wally trades that don't go quite my way. I'm also looking at some settings I have on Wally where, hey, we were in some divergence on a daily, right? So why were you taking sell trades throughout here? But he looks at very small time frames, 5-minute time frames, and for the most part, it's worked out very well. But this pair, we just have some issues with right now. So for me, I'm biasly looking to sell this pair, or what we're going to do at this level. I'll draw it in here for you guys. What is price going to do here? Right? If price busts through this, I better just get out of them. Take loss. British pound, JPY. Okay, we are sitting where we have bearish. We had a double top, but as you can see, we have divergence posting on a daily. So this is a pair. It's a risky pair. I'm not going to lie. The British pound, JPY, we're at this level we've identified here. We broke through it, kind of in that zone. So because we have divergence on the daily, because it's at a strong resistance, we are going to be bearish here. Now, risky trade. So tight stop loss. Don't be, if you get stopped out, don't give up on it. But I like this all the way down to that level, this missed pivot as a TP1. But we're going to need to see what this thing does. You may wait for a double top on RSI, which is really close. But we may see, the strength of the British pound may decline in the next week or so. And where all the British pound pairs have just been rip-roaring up, we may see a big reset of that. Just don't know. But I like this pair short on the open, or either further tonight once we get some confirmation on a smaller time frame. Again, this is a little bit of a riskier pair. Price tends to move pretty hard and fast. Be great to catch a sell trade here and let it move hard and fast in your direction. Man, wouldn't we all like that? So let's look at British pound, New Zealand dollar. Again, British pound has been kicking ass. You see this bearish flag or bullish flag that we have going on here. So that's why I'm bullish here. But let's not forget, we're kind of bearish on a bunch of other British pound trades. So what we wouldn't want to be doing is buying this pair and selling those other pairs. So you're going to have to make a decision which one you feel more strongly with. Sometimes it's worked out in my favor to buy this pair and sell the British pound JPY. Because the JPY kind of acts on its own when things are paired with it. But you're just going to have to make that decision your own, or jump onto my free channel, Telegram channel, and see if we take this trade, or go to my paid Telegram signal service. And if I put a trade on, you'll see exactly when in real time if I put a trade on my own accounts. Got that little plug in there. All right, British pound, US dollar, kind of doing the same thing, right? But we're starting to see a break of that flag pattern that we have. So is the British pound going to continue its strength, or is it going to have its week of reckoning? That's what you need to kind of ask yourself. So you can see we kind of have a strong resistance happening. It's less flag, more consolidation going on here. I would be bullish at this area. A retest of this, test of this former support, or a kind of like bearish now that the last 2 weeks have given us this strong resistance line. But we're going to have, it's kind of testy. Comes up here, you're going to have to be pretty quick on the draw, hit a sell trade, be very tight with the stop loss. I mean, like that tight, and then kind of ride this thing back down. But we're kind of in this consolidation range. Some traders, trend traders, just stay away from sideways price action. I truly believe you need to learn how to trade in sideways, up markets, down markets, and sideways. And how I do that is through support and resistance, and tight stop losses on discretionary trades. And you might catch a good retest and come down. If you don't, you get a break. Hopefully you put a stop loss that got stopped out, or if you use the rollover, you're in a small trade size and you wait for this, possibly come up, test this resistance level and see what it's going to do and enter a second sell trade. That's the fun part about trading. Everyone has their own way of doing it. Let's go to British pound, or New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Okay, so what do we got for updates here? Well, I still like being bearish in this area, and we're kind of in that area now. We've been testing it last week. You can see we tested it here, there. So price just keeps touching it and shrinking. Now, we're kind of hovering on R2, and pivot's all the way down here. I'd guess this week's pivot's going to be in this area. So what I kind of want to see is either a push back up to the backside of this bearish zone, possibly take a sell trade here, and then, or if we see price come back down, test this support area here, and we'd be buyers then. But right now, we got to wait. I'm more bearish on this. We're hitting high on the RSI. We've tested this level. If we get a strong retest, we get bearish again. Or if price just makes its way back down to the bullish area, we'll be buyers here. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. Again, we had a break of this resistance, but it's just kind of sitting there. Just kind of sitting around over here. You can see we took a sell trade here. Let's get rid of that. But I kind of want to see what we're going to do here. So this one's definitely red because we're stretched to the back side of our bearish zone, but we're sitting on a bullish candle. We had this pin bar, but then now we have this bullish candle. So we want to see on a smaller time frame what we got going on here. So you can see it's just kind of hovering at this R2 level. We have a missed pivot. So good sign. We hit RSI. We had this small pullback. So we may see if price comes back up to this level, test it, and that'd be a good point to take a sell trade. If we move that right there. All right, let's go back to the daily. Let's jump on New Zealand dollar. We're JPY. Almost looks exactly the same. This one, I've already moved the bullish to this line here, but that fits it better. So I'm bullish at the pivot. I'm bearish this pair now. This one we're going to turn red because we want to see. We want to see what price is going to do. It's already red right here. See it basically touched that R2 and shrank. So I think we're in a really good spot for a decent turn back down to this consolidation range that we have here. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, same thing. So you got a lot of pairs to choose from. Is the New Zealand dollar going to get weaker this week? You can see it's just tested this support over and over again, and it's just hovering there, just wanting to break either up or down. I mean, that's the unfortunate part about trading is we have this strong resistance, we have this strong support. I actually kind of like bullish here if we get back down to this range. But we're sitting in a decision zone for price with, is it going to break this resistance, or is it going to respect it? We're going to see a strong push down. We have a lot of fundamental. I actually like this pair short, mostly because it's non-farm payroll week, and I'm going to guess more people are going to be betting on the dollar. So, of the New Zealand pairs, this one might move the most this week, and it might move in the dollar's favor. So what we would want to do is catch this early, wait for spreads to calm down, and get into a sell trade, and possibly take this thing back down to its pivot or down to this bullish zone. USD Canadian dollar. All right, so here you can kind of see we have this some kind of weird channel going on, or more of, didn't quite hit this high before we saw a break. So what we may want to do to confirm is be bearish up here. Let's just get rid of this thing. This trash is messing with us. So we may see a strong push of this pair back up to this resistance. Again, it's the US dollar. So we may see, and what's great about non-farm payroll week with this pair is you have a lot of news on the Canadian dollar on Friday and the US dollar. As you can see, if we zoom in, there's a lot of news all week on these two. But we have non-farm payroll on Friday. If we go to you have the unemployment in Canada. This pair is going to be rocking and rolling this week. For me, if we get a pullback down to this bullish zone early in the week, be a good place to buy from here, or to see if we're going to get a break of it, or if price pushes all the way up to this resistance, good place to sell. My guess is by the end of the week, price will be up into this area. May get a strong push or something here on the non-farm payroll, but this might be a pair at the end of the week. Look for a sell trade after all of this fundamental news does whatever it does to the this pair. US Swiss franc. So this pair is looking perfect. We're right at the level of a retest in our bearish zone. Depending on how you draw your resistance lines, I like mine right there. This one's primed. If we're going to see a turn, it's going to happen soon. So if you got in this last week, right when it touched R2, you would have got in it good. You're already in good profit. You could have moved your stop loss to break even, and then now stress-free trade. But I'm still bearish this pair. I'd love to see a retest of this. If we go to a smaller time frame, you can see it hit, retracted. Now I'm going to wait for another hit or a break of this trend line, and I like this pair definitely down to this pivot level as a TP1, TP2, maybe this S2, or in our daily bullish zone. But again, US dollar, non-farm payroll week. So trade with caution. Maybe just maybe the week we have some bad news on the dollar, and all these dollar pairs lose the value they gained last week. And what I'm starting to notice with the non-farm payroll is you see the surge the week before, a consolidation this whole week till Friday, and then whatever the news comes out, you're gonna see some sporadic moves right before. But technically, this pair is hitting the overbought range, and we are starting to see a good sell trade, at least if you follow my strategies. Let's look at our last pair, the USJPY. So last week I got into a rollover trade here, and it actually stopped me out. So I took a small loss. Again, last week, liquidity, it was out. Probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. But I didn't want to miss this because I have some short trades on my copy trade. So when price hit this R2, I got in a little early. Price stretched up, hit R2, stopped me out right here. You can see where I had my stop. I'll get rid of that. And then, kind of come back. So I probably had a little too tight of a stop loss. And I'm still bearish this pair because we're at a very strong resistance area. It touched R2, retracted. I'm still bearish this pair overall. But we will see what non-farm payroll news does to the US dollar. If it turns out it's really bad news, this pair will drop hard and fast. Last December, this pair, if we just go back to last December, you can see, right, here's where price was entering December last year. Then we get to December. Here's last year, right there. Okay, price was topped out. We were trading this range. Boom. I actually got long the pair here last year. Actually, I missed it a little bit. I got long right around here and was in profit for about a day. And then I got caught in this mess and then this mess. And I'll tell you, it was a scary, scary Christmas for me. Because on January 2nd, I hit almost 60% drawdown on 2 trades on this. Luckily, it didn't margin call me here, opened back up. I held those trades all the way back to break even, which was a scary time, but it goes to show you if you get into the trade with the proper trade size in the beginning, you could weather some storm. Now, it's never fun, and it probably wasn't the best decision, especially on this strong of a bearish move. But I really thought this level we'd see a change, and we definitely did. I just got in it too late. Should have took my profit and got caught in this mess. But if history repeats itself, price is right at that level where it retraced back to right after that flash crash. So are we going to see another drop here? Who knows? But I like it because we are hitting R2. We had some definite confusion in the market here. Again here. We've been in this upward channel. We're getting into the holidays. I like British pound, or the Japanese yen is the world's second safest currency. So if there's at all any shaking of the dollar, we are going to see it happen on this pair sooner than any other pair. And I just like, technically, we are in a bearish area. And, if we're going to see a move, it's going to be from here. All right. Well, this wraps up this week's Sunday summary. Again, make sure you subscribe. If you're seeing this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you get all of my Sunday summaries and hit the little alert button. I also post this on my TradingView account as well as my Telegram channels. And if you haven't already, check out the Day Trading Plumber podcast, where I tell stories and give insight to the markets. Tell stories about how I went from slinging pipe all day being a plumber to trading Forex for a living now, working in my basement. All right. Have a great trading week, and hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving and happy holidays.